Certainly been prominent over the last few years. That's the Sydney Swans. They are the reigning premiers, and they've come to use a form of play that's been known as Slingshot Footy. I think it's a good opportunity to actually have a discussion about this because we saw plenty of it on the weekend, and maybe just explain to people exactly what we're talking about when we say Slingshot Footy.
Well, they're firstly prepared to absorb some inside 50s at the defensive end, get their numbers back, get their support back, and compress right up the ground. So clearly they're going to the right of screen here, all their numbers back behind, couple of forwards left forward so they've got some targets if they need to use them, and then open up the space for players, particularly Jeddah, he's their number one P if you like, to get his running game going, take up that space. The rest of the players will move away and allow him to just overlap, run and really be super creative. His quality ball use and his class comes to the fore, Rocket, and I think that that's one reason why they've got the fewest marks in the competition this year is because they're set up to handball, huge handball numbers, but great overlap run, great team football.
Yeah, I think you'll see in those three edits that they've got numbers back, so obviously, but their forwards will suck out and they'll have 3 or 4 forwards deep inside 50, so there's a great vacuum in between. So it gives Jeddah and these players a chance to actually run and carry the footy. There are
other times when they press the entire team up, virtually clogging a half of the ground, and you'll always note that the deepest players for Sydney always include Jeddah. So you get your quickest players, the players can run and carry to be the deepest ones, and then when you do win it, they bolt. And if you've got a half a ground of open space, good luck catching them. And we've seen Jeddah run and carry so far, and you've just felt for the blokes chasing, haven't you?
Well, that's exactly why it's led to the numbers that it has. They're ranked second in the competition for disposal efficiency versus their opponents, and they are ranked 4th best in the comp at converting an inside 50 to a score because they're pure. They're running the ball in, the overlap comes, and you actually score easier goals at the end, which is, I guess that's the aim of what every team's trying to do. Make it easy when you get to your forward half to score.
And I think that's the answer to the press. Obviously, Brisbane were pressing then, but in that first edit you showed when the ball got to Jeddah, there was 3 Sydney players together, there was 3 or 4 Brisbane players all together, so they hadn't spread out, they hadn't covered all the angles, and when you're pressed like that, you've got to make sure you keep the ball in.
Best way to combat it? Do you just get someone to stand out as a defensive sweeper and make sure he's 10, 20, 30 metres deeper than the deepest Sydney player? Yeah,
I think each one is different, but obviously in that situation with Jeddah, you've got a number off with him. Yeah. You know, he's the one, and if you've got a +1, you probably err on the side of being 10, 15, 20 metres off the back of him. He's a number off player to worry about.
Don't give him anything, Rocket. We know who you play this week, mate. We know who you play.
Just asking the question. All right, I hope that explains to you exactly what we're talking about when we say Slingshot Footy. We need to take a break. We're going to have a look at how some clubs could be your